Hey, welcome everybody. We're so excited that you're here this evening. We have a few people still joining, so we're going to get started here in just a minute. I'm Venus Powers, and we're going to have the amazing Jim Tanner come on in a moment and talk to you about the opportunity. And then we're going to have a brief pause, and then we're going to talk about how you get started in this business. And we have a few testimonials that we're going to go over today, and just give everybody just a moment to get acclimated. While you're coming into the call, please take a minute and jump into the chat room and tell us where you're zooming in from, and say hey. Let us know if you have a guest on this evening so that we can welcome your guests. We have some very active chat people who will make sure that your guest feels welcome. And if you have any questions during this time, we have leaders on the call who will be happy to answer them in the chat. We have not allowed you to unmute yourself or turn your video camera on because it's a little distracting when we're trying to give a presentation, but you are able to interact in the chat. And Jim is very interactive, so he will ask you questions like, put a 1 in the chat for this, put a high 5 in the chat for that. So be sure that you're paying attention and that you're ready to get started. And so we are a minute after. So I'm Venus Powers, and I'm zooming in from South Carolina today. Sometimes I'm in a number of other places, but today I'm back home in South Carolina. And I'm super excited for tonight because it's the middle of the month and everyone is like, at a pivot point in their business. And you've come up to the middle of the month and it's time to make decisions on how you want your month to end. And I'm so excited that you all have decided to spend your time with us this evening, because you're going to get a lot of great information and you're going to learn a lot. And if you are a guest on the Zoom this evening, we hope that once you become an associate later today, that you're going to stay for the how to get started moment. And we are a great team and we help one another. And you'll see Sonora and Tammy and Jim, many others on the Zoom tonight, Karen, everyone is here to help you. And so please do not hesitate to ask questions or interject in any way during the presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Jim Tanner. He is one of the most sought after speakers and leaders in our organization. I know that, every region is vying for his time. Today, he listed off to me a number of different regions who's trying to get him to come and speak at their events, from during the summer and the fall. And he's, making decisions on where he's going to be. And that's just such an exciting part of our organization, because every market wants the best to come to their market. And when you get someone like Jim Tanner come to your market, who's a $200,000 ring earner, millionaire club member, he's an author. He wrote a book called On Purpose, and it's his journey in network marketing. And it is his journey through becoming a member of Legal Shield and becoming an associate of Legal Shield, because he was a member for more than 10 years before he became an associate. And so when you learn from him what he was able to bring to the table by recommending this business to other people before he actually got paid for it, a lot of people in this organization will say, I could recommend Legal Shield all day for free, but I don't have to. And Jim Tanner is the complete example of that. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to him, because I know you are going to learn so much from him tonight, because I've learned so much from him in the 4.5 years that I've experienced his leadership. So thank you, Jim, and welcome everybody.
Venus Powers, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've been watching the chat, and we've got folks from really all over the place. So this is exciting for me. This is something we do on Mondays. We get together. It's 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, and you're somewhere in the middle, or maybe you're in Alaska or Hawaii. Perhaps you're somewhere in Canada as well, as we are open for business across the US and Canada. and I'm excited to be here. I'm going to share with you information that, as Vina said, I saw for myself 19 plus years ago, the opportunity. But the opportunity here, I'm also going to share with you our flagship products, which I discovered 10 years prior to that. So you might be a little anxious, say, oh man, this guy's going to tell 30 years worth of stories. It's going to go by quick. I promise I'm not going to tell you everything, including my high school years, but I just want you to know that we're here to share with you something that's really important. And if you are a guest, because we have our associates, our team members that have been with us for a few minutes, a few days, a few months, a few years, a couple decades even, that are here with us this evening. But then we also have guests that some of you have invited guests, and I'm really going to direct my attention to the guests here today, because you're seeing for the first time what I once saw for the first time. And when we talk about the world and how it's changed, I think this is really key to talk about, because we are not in the same moment we were in. You know, the conversation we're going to have today is not necessarily the conversation we would have had 5 years ago, but we have had a revolution happen. People have maybe stepped out of the patterns that they were going through, you know, just kind of going to work every day, hoping for a happy retirement decades into the future. Now people want some options and choices that they really didn't even realize were possible before. Some of that is because of technology. Some of that is because of the awakening of this pattern interruption we had with COVID and lockdowns and the way that society changed. And you see on the screen, what is it that people want? Well, first of all, this is a work from anywhere revolution. You're watching people say, listen, I'm not going back to the office. I want control of my time and my schedule. People want uncapped income. That's true. They want the time to do what they want. See, a lot of folks wanted to work from home over the last several years, and people right now are saying, I'd rather work from home. But what they don't want is they don't want to be micromanaged from home. And a lot of folks that are getting the opportunity to work from home are finding out that having a boss somewhere else micromanage, monitor their keystrokes, having them check in multiple times an hour, knowing exactly what they're doing at every exact moment. People don't want that. They want flexibility. They want to be independent, and they want to be business owners. Now, that's what I wanted when I was in search of an opportunity for myself. And that's what I found when I saw this company. So I'm here to talk to you about an opportunity, but I just want you to know, when I got started in this business, some of you are going to say to yourselves, you know, Jim, I'm busy. Well, I was busy. I had a full-time job during the day, a part-time job at a store in the mall at night, because I couldn't make ends meet. Between those two jobs and commuting, that was 80 hours a week. Now, the problem with that was that I couldn't make ends meet. With both of those jobs and running around like that, I still routinely chose between gas for my car and food. And I said, there must be a better way. Now, what I learned over time, looking back on it, is the reason that happened was because I was only working for one kind of income, linear income. Most people understand linear income, trading time for money. You know, I literally punched a clock. I worked for an hour, I got paid for the hour. Now that's great, but I never got paid again for the work I did that hour. And I never was able to work collaboratively and cooperatively with other professionals. So as you see on your screen, there are other types of income. There's the linear income that most of us understand, but there's also leveraged income where you can work with a team and you can expand the potential of your income because you can expand your reach. But then there's also residual income. And while even when I first got started in this business and people talked to me about residual income, that was again 19 years ago, I had no idea the profound effect residual income would have on my life and on my family. Here's a simple way to understand residual income, because by the way, 95% of Americans have no form of residual income, only 5% do. And why is that? You know, what is that, I guess, is, well, the why, number one, is because we really aren't taught to look for residual income. That's not what they teach us in school. And that's not what most folks understand when they get into the world of earning income. Now, the 5% that do, these are folks that are, maybe they're an author. They wrote a book and they're getting royalties for that book. They wrote a book one time and they get paid every time somebody buys a copy of that book. Maybe they're actors in movies. They make a movie one time and every time that movie is played on television or in a movie theater, they get some residual income. That's residual income. Maybe you own apartment buildings and the passive income from the rent, the profits, that is your residual income. This can be your retirement plan for the future. But in any situation where you can do something one time and get paid on that one activity again and again and again and again, that's powerful. And that is a component, not just of earning income, but of building wealth. And so some of you were invited here today because you're keeping your options open. You're looking, you want to know what your choices really are. And so I just want you to know this, because I'm going to give you the facts today about our company. But the fact is, above all else, if you're going to put your time, energy, attention into developing some new skills to do something new and different, that you have to have these 5 areas in place, and they have to be sound. Number one, you have to have a company. I'm going to introduce you to our company today. That company has to be rock solid and have stood the test of time. There's nothing more exciting than a startup or a ground floor opportunity. The problem, though, is that most startups never start up. Most ground floor opportunities never get off the ground. You have to have a need in the marketplace. Too often we see companies that are creating an answer to something that nobody's asking for. In other words, you can have a product or a service that doesn't really fill a need. And what about that product? It has to be priced right. It has to solve a problem. It has to, in this day and age, be disruptive. I'm going to share what that means with you in a moment. You have to have great compensation, not just fair compensation, but you have to have a way for people to have major lasting transformation, and you have to have the right timing. So I'm going to show you all of these things. We're going to go through this really quickly. In the next handful of minutes, I'm going to share with you, but I'm going to start with our company, and I'm going to start with our founder. That's the gentleman who's pictured here on the screen. This is Harlan Stonecipher. Now, Mr. Stonecipher is no longer with us today, but in 1972, he started a company that was born from this car accident. And here's what happened to Mr. Stonecipher. He was hit, he was nearly killed in this car accident that you see pictured on the screen. And even though the driver of the other vehicle that went through the intersection, got all the tickets, was deemed at fault by the Highway Patrol, she sued Mr. Stonecipher, and he had to drain his life savings to defend that lawsuit. Now, Mr. Stonecipher was a school teacher during the day. He was a part-time insurance agent in his part-time. And when he was telling this story of this car accident and how this company was born, in his autobiography, he said that he evaluated the situation. He had car insurance. It wasn't going to be a problem to get a new car. He had health insurance that took care of the bills while he was in the hospital. He even had life insurance had he not survived the crash, and his family would have been protected. But when he looked around and evaluated, he said there was nothing that he had in place for himself and his family to protect himself against this catastrophe of having to defend a frivolous lawsuit. And Mr. Stonecipher went looking for that solution that he thought that he must have missed. And when he realized that it didn't exist, he did what so few other people would do. He set about to change everything. And from that accident, the mission for equal access to equal justice was born. Today, our home office headquarters sits high atop a hill in rural Ada, Oklahoma, where Mr. Stonecipher was born. And our vision that we carry out with 700 employees, protecting 4.4 million lives in the United States and Canada, the vision that we carry out from that facility is to provide equal access to liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice that we feel that every human deserves. And while you may have never heard of PPLSI, that's our parent company name, or any of our flagship products before tonight, I want you to know that this is a company, again, today that serves over 4 million people every day. And we've been written up in Forbes, Yahoo Finance, CNBC, and Bloomberg. And as a matter of fact, USA Today said, it sounds like healthcare before it became a $1 trillion industry. Now, Mr. Stonecipher started that company that we're talking about today on his kitchen table, but he took it to the American Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange. And then finally, we were acquired through a $650 million acquisition by MidOcean Partners and taken private. And that was an incredible investment by MidOcean, because today we are valued at $2 billion. And that $30 million facility that was built 20 years ago was not built for 20 years ago or 20 years from now. It was built for 50 years and 100 years from today. And we have the capacity to grow this company into the future in ways that so few could have ever imagined when Mr. Stonecipher started this company. So what is it that is happening? What is this disruptive innovation that we've done? Let me just help you to understand where to put this in your mind. You remember shopping at the mall. We've all done it, right? We used to do this thing where if we needed a product, we would go and we'd crisscross town looking for the right size, the right price, the right color, whatever it is, and oftentimes coming away empty. But we don't do that today. We have apps like Amazon. Amazon is a $1 trillion company because of a disruptive innovation. They disrupted retail shopping. They made it simpler, easier, and more affordable. Well, what did they do? Well, today from your own smartphone, all you do is look for the item you want, and it usually shows up on your doorstep 48 hours, 24 hours, or even sometimes the same day that you desire the product. What about buying music? We used to do the same thing. We crisscross town, going to the music store, looking for music, buy the whole album because we wanted one song. But today on our own phone, through Spotify and other apps like it, you have access to every song, every podcast, every educational audio, everything you could ever imagine. It's searchable and convenient. Now, Amazon didn't invent retail. They just made it simpler, easier, and more affordable. Spotify didn't invent music. They just made it simpler, easier, and more affordable. And what about the justice system? This is where one of our flagship products, Legal Shield, fits in, because this is a game changer. Now, sometimes when I first start talking about legal, I know that some of my audience just kind of shuts down. They stop listening to me. You know why? They say, listen, I don't get in trouble. I don't break the law. And that's probably what I would have thought too, if I was sitting on your end of this screen right now. But let me ask you this question. Have you ever thought about writing or revising your will? Have you ever had your personal information compromised? You got a letter in the mail from a company that says, hey, whoops, sorry, but we've been attacked through ransomware. We were in a cyber attack situation and your information was compromised. Maybe you've been treated unfairly by a big box store, or you've had an insurance company not pay a claim, where you've sat on the phone saying things like, let me speak to your supervisor. Maybe you've had identity theft land at your front door. You've signed a contract or clicked agree on a screen on something you didn't understand and you regretted it later. Maybe you've gotten a traffic ticket. Maybe you've gotten in a situation where you wanted to know more about why your credit score was what it was. You bought a defective product and you didn't know what your rights were. You had your social media accounts hacked and people took over your identity. That is just a few ways that you and I use the legal system every day. And most people don't access their rights. They don't have the access, the advocacy, and the voice. You know why? Because when they have to consider how much money they have in their checking account before they can consider what their rights are, then most people would agree they don't have access to their rights. And Legal Shield, our flagship product, changes all that. This is what our mobile app looks like. And here's just a simple way to understand what it is that we do. First of all, we give you preventive access to attorneys. Because now, instead of wondering what to do, Googling it, or asking your cousin every time you have a legal question, what if instead you could talk to an attorney? An attorney, by the way, that's an expert in the area of law that you have a question in, and you could ask those questions on an unlimited basis. So you don't have to wonder, and you don't have to go it alone, and you don't have to stick your head in the sand. What about contracts and documents? You know, every day companies put things in front of people like you and I, regular, ordinary citizens, and they expect us to understand this document and then sign it. And it was written by somebody else's attorney to protect their best interest. And oftentimes we just sign those things and hope for the best. And sometimes it's a big deal. Sometimes it's something minor. Could be a gym membership, could be a cell phone plan, could be something where you really don't know what you're getting yourself into. But you know, wealthy people don't just sign stuff that's put in front of them. They have their attorneys review it first. And our Legal Shield members, which is what we call our customers, have that same power to have their documents reviewed before they sign them, to make sure that their attorney says that it's okay to sign it. What about letters and phone calls made on your behalf? Don't you think that it would be far more empowering to have your attorney send a letter to a company that's treating you unfairly, that owes you a phone call or owes you a refund, an insurance company that won't pay the claim, instead of being on hold with their customer service department and then saying, let me speak to your supervisor, and knowing that's not going to do anything but give you more of a runaround? What if you had your attorney step in and send a letter or make a phone call on your behalf? That's the power of this. And by the way, I'm going to share a story here in a second, but I want you to know this, that when you and I call into a big company, we speak to customer service. That's the phone number we dial. But when our attorney reaches out to that company, they speak to the legal department at those big box stores, at those insurance companies. And that is a whole different thing. I'll give you a perfect example. I got this membership when I was 19 years old. A man walked into the store I worked at. It happened to be my lunch break. He asked me if he could show me something. I said yes. And I remember when he showed me this membership, which he did a presentation while I ate a sandwich, took him about 10 minutes with a brochure. I remember thinking, if he says a price that I can afford, I am getting this. And he did, and I did. And the first time I got to use it was 2 weeks later when I was trying to move. And my landlord told me that I was not going to get my security deposit back. Now, I didn't break the lease. I didn't damage the property. He just felt like he could push me around. I was 19 years old. I didn't know how the world worked. But I remember that I just had signed up for this service. So I called to see what I could get for advice about what I should do. And instead, I remember, I'll never forget that my attorney said, you don't have to do anything, Mr. Tanner, we'll take it from here. And they overnighted a letter to that landlord. And 24 hours after he said I would never see that $500 security deposit, I was holding a check in my hand. As a matter of fact, when he opened that letter, he called me right away at work. He said, Jim, come get a check. I don't want any problems from your lawyers. And by the way, that's at 19 years old, and I've had this membership ever since. I have never lived and existed in the American economy and ever been pushed around, felt frustrated, had to raise my voice or say, let me speak to your supervisor, or I want to talk to your manager. That's the power of having a voice and advocacy and having attorneys on your side. And that's just one of the many ways people are using their plans every single day. You can get your will done, including your living will, your healthcare power of attorney, your financial power of attorney, whatever all your estate planning needs are in your state. And not just done, which by the way, most people never do because they know it's complicated and confusing and they know it's expensive. But our members don't have to worry about that because our attorneys make sure it's not complicated. They make sure it's not confusing. They hold your hand through the whole process, and it's not expensive. It's included in our membership. And the truth is that there are some people, about 20% of Americans get their will done, and most of that 20% do it one time in their life, and they never readdress it again. So most people never get it done at all, and the few that do never really update their will, but our members get their will updated every year. And why is that important? Well, because every time you buy a house, sell a house, get married, get divorced, have a kid, have a grandkid, change jobs or retire, or any of the other life events that happen all the time, you need to update your will. As a matter of fact, even if nothing changes, the laws change every year, and you often need to update your will. So you get that peace of mind also of having that in place. What about traffic tickets? What about this? Whether you get that ticket down the street from your house going to the grocery store or all the way across the country, what if you could just take a picture of the ticket with your own cell phone and have that ticket information go securely and instantly to your law firm, and then you get to work on defending you in traffic court? That's powerful. I've been to traffic court, and I've watched the power of having my Legal Shield attorney, first of all, take us to the front of the line when the judge says, who here has an attorney? And we raised our hands and he took us right to the front of the line. No, not because he respected my time, but because he respected the attorney's time. And we got to jump to the front of the line. I remember that multiple times I've had this happen. Multiple times I've been very happy with the outcome. Now, our attorneys don't fix tickets, but the reality is that having an attorney stand in traffic court with you usually gets you a much more favorable outcome. And what most people do is they don't even go to traffic court and try to defend themselves, which takes all day anyway. What most people do is they flip that ticket over, sign it, and don't even realize when they do that, they're admitting to a crime. They can have the points go up on their insurance, have their rates go up, all of that because they don't have access to representation. They don't know about Legal Shield. And listen, I could glowingly talk about Legal Shield for hours, so I'm aware of the time. But you also have civil trial defense, tax audit assistance when the IRS comes calling. You have a member's discount for things that are not included. We like to say everything from bank robbery to bankruptcy, and 24-hour emergency access to the attorneys. You know why? Because if you're getting arrested, questioned, detained, you have a car accident at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can't wait for the office to open the next morning. So we have our attorneys standing by 24/7, 365. Yes, 2 a.m. on Christmas, you can talk to your attorney. That's the power of having millions of members in this service. Now you also have uncontested divorce, adoption, separation, and name change, which comes into effect 90 days after you join as a member. And what is the investment to become a member? $29.95 a month. That's right, $1 a day allows you this peace of mind and protection and to have this mobile app on your phone. And that price also includes your family members can have the same service included in the same $29.95. That means you and your spouse or domestic partner, your never married dependent children under the age of 26 living at home or full-time students, your dependent children under the age of 18 for whom you as the member are the legal guardian, and any physically or mentally disabled children living at home. We call this living life worry-free. Now, life isn't that simple, but that is the goal, is to give you the peace of mind of knowing that you can tap an app and always have access to your rights. And that is our Legal Shield product. Now, alongside of that, our other flagship product is called ID Shield. And ID Shield does exactly what you think a product called ID Shield would do. It monitors what matters. It monitors your credit. And by the way, I know this is an audience that probably understands this, but I just, for responsibility's sake, want to let you know that your credit score is not your identity. Your identity is your good name in the community. It's your brand in the marketplace. And so while your credit score is important, there's a lot more that makes up your identity than your credit score. It's your medical information, your DMV and social security information, it's your passport and your social media And this monitoring allows you to know how you stand, including your credit score, including whether or not your information is on the dark web, and also including your social media to make sure that your reputation is being managed on social media, including Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and more. So the peace of mind of knowing what's going on, but also the truth is that there's a lot of companies marketing to you an identity theft solution. You're probably getting calls from your homeowner's insurance company, your bank or credit union, and then all the stuff you see on TV and on the radio you hear. But there's a reason that there's only one number one, and that number one is ID Shield. It's because of something called restoration. In our case, comprehensive restoration. Here's what that means. When you do become a victim of identity theft, when a member of your family does become a victim, instead of getting a call center to give you a pep talk and guide you through what you should do, which by the way, could take you hundreds of hours if you could ever solve it at all, you can have licensed private investigators that will step in on your behalf and do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to restore your identity to the pre-theft status. That's the power and peace of mind. And we have a plan for you as an individual for $19.95 a month. We can also cover your entire family for $34.95 per month. And who's covered? Same thing. We've got an individual plan, but also the family plan includes the member, spouse, or domestic partner, up to 10 dependent children. And it's a powerful plan for peace of mind for you and the entire family. Now, you're here to hear about the membership, of course, but also about the opportunity. And so I'm going to transition to the opportunity. But as I make that transition, I just want to show you something. Because what I just showed you, Legal Shield and ID Shield for an entire family, $64.90 a month for both plans. Think about the peace of mind of that. And also we have plans for business owners and their businesses and the employees of those businesses as well. And I'll get into that in subsequent trainings. But Member Perks allows you to take this no-brainer of these two services and create an environment where you save money that will offset the investment in your plans. Let me explain. When you have 4.4 million members and growing, what happens is the biggest brands on planet Earth want to do business with your members. And so all of these companies on the screen and hundreds more are constantly offering us deep discounts so that we will do business with them. We call this Member Perks. And what happens is it becomes really this kind of no-brainer situation, I keep saying, because these are products and services that you and I are already spending money on, but now we get to save money. So we're not creating a situation where we're buying something we wouldn't already buy, but we're talking about your travel, your gym memberships. We're talking about going to the movies, going to the amusement park. We're talking about Costco and buying your groceries, buying new hardware and software for your computer systems. All of that is available through Member Perks, and we're constantly getting updates about new deep discounts that we get. As a matter of fact, in my house, we save more with Member Perks than the investment in our Legal Shield and ID Shield memberships every single month. So that's, again, if you want to look at a business, you got to make it a no-brainer. Let me show you real quick how we are paid, how we're compensated for sharing this good news. And how do we share it? By the way, you can invite people to presentations like the one I'm doing right now. You can pay forward what somebody did for you by just inviting folks to this presentation. Plus, we have videos that you can send folks, and you get a website where people can sign up for the plans on your website. And here's how it goes. You're a new associate, you sign up a family on your website, you start out at the associate level, which means you earn $70. And by the way, unlike most traditional ways that people earn income, you get to decide when you get promoted. Nobody else is going to decide. It's not about how long you've been somewhere. It's all about your choices. Protect a few families and move from the $70 associate level to the $90 senior associate level. And if you do this in your first 20 days or less, you earn a $100 bonus. We call that Fast Start. And it's an exciting way for you to start earning bonus money and earning these commission dollars as well. But this is really just the beginning of the story. I just wanted to share this with you before I move on. If you qualify monthly for our executive director level, that's $370 for the same activity. You share this great information with somebody about our memberships, they go to your website and they sign up. And as an executive director, you're earning $370 for each membership you sign up. Sign up 5 a month, earn $1,850 a month. That's a nice part-time income. But if you do that weekly instead of monthly, you're earning $96,200 a year. Hopefully that got some of your attention, because when I saw this opportunity, again, 19 years ago, when I was working and commuting 80 hours a week and I couldn't pay my bills, I said, I don't know if I have time for this. But when I saw the potential And I knew that the membership worked because I'd already owned it for a decade. I'd already recommended it to people. They loved my recommendation. They were happy I did it. I said, I have to get involved because if I don't make a change, nothing's ever going to change. And I'm so glad that I made that decision, that I walked through that door. And just listen to this too. Also, you can build a team. And just like an insurance broker or a real estate broker, you can have a team. For example, let's say I'm a new associate on your team and I make a sale and you're my executive director. I earn my $70 commission as a new associate. You earn a $300 override as my upline executive director. If I do that 5 times a month, you're earning over $1,000 in overrides on my sales. What if you had 5 of me? What if you had 10 of me? I think now you can see the power of why so many people are succeeding. And I'm going to share a little bit more about that when I do the training here in a few minutes. But I love to have fun in this business. What we do matters. It's important work. Bringing equal access to justice and the peace of mind of having real restoration with identity theft monitoring is important work. And we do that in our communities across the US and Canada. And I'm here to convince you to join us in this mission. But we also love to have fun. And one of the ways we have fun is called Performance Club, where we earn cash bonuses every month just by protecting a few families, 2 to 4. Typically, you can earn up to $500 extra a month as a Performance Club cash bonus. That's $6,000 a year. And you can qualify for vacations around the world. When I do the training, I'm going to share a few pictures of some of the places I've been. But I grew up in a small town in a small state, and I never saw any of the world before Legal Shield. But since I've been all over the world, and I would love for you to be on these journeys with us, walking the beaches of the world with us. And as a matter of fact, I'm just going to step out of the way here for a second. I want you to hear from a couple of folks before I wrap up this portion of the presentation, because I want you to hear from some of the other people that have started their business and that are walking this journey with us. And I'm going to start by going to Colorado to Miss Sonora Danzler. Sonora, over to you. Sonora, I'm not hearing you. Am I the only one? I'm going to come back to you in 1 second, and I'm going to go to Louisiana to Miss Tammy Martin. Tammy, let's see if I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there you go.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. I am so excited to be here and to share just a little bit of my story. Before Legal Shield, I was actually in another direct selling company. I was a senior sales director for Mary Kay and did that for 14 years until my life got turned upside down. And as it sometimes hits us, and so I had to make some changes, and so I found Legal Shield. And I'm not even gonna lie, I came in for the money. Because I heard about the money and I thought, well, I could be a millionaire. I could do that. But it is just so amazing, all the other things that get added to you. You have the personal growth. I mean, you just grow and stretch and learn. And we have the most amazing training and the most amazing leaders that that any company could have. And then, like Jim was saying, we have the PC checks, and then we have the trips, and we just have this community of people, and that will reach out to you and pull you up by your bootstraps when you need that, but that will love you and help you grow and help you to reach those goals. So I love the fact that it doesn't matter if you need to do this part-time starting out, or if you just want to jump in and do full-time. It will work with anybody's schedule and work, your life around that. And so I absolutely love that. And so I'm excited for what all I am going to be doing, and just what all the company can offer. So thank you for letting me share, Jim.
Thank you very much, Tammy. Appreciate that. And Sonora, let's try that one more time. Let's see if we can get your audio up. Still no luck. Well, Sonora, we'll hear from you next time we're together. And you've seen Sonora in the chat helping us stay on track with everything today. And so here's what we're going to do. Let me just recap real quick before I say goodbye to you. We talked about, these were the 5 areas to evaluate, right? Company. You've got a 51-year-old company that has stood the test of time. $2 billion valuation, a company that serves millions of customers, and is growing every day. There is a need in the marketplace. There's no question about it. People want to have a voice and advocacy. They want to have their rights, and they want someone to step in so that their rights can be realized. They don't want to have to wonder what to do or how to do it. They want someone that's an expert, whether it's as their legal team or their fraud specialist team, to step in and make things whole again. And we have a product that does that in an impeccable way. We've taken the high hourly cost of attorney, $300, $400, $500 an hour, and we've shrunk that down to a simple subscription service at $1 a day. And with ID Shield, the peace of mind of knowing what your identity, your good name is at every moment. The compensation plan with 1 year advanced commission, daily deposits being paid 7 days a week means that you're funded on day one. You don't have to go to the bank with a business plan and hope to get hope to get funded. You don't have to go to angel investors and sell part of your business. You are funded on day one, and you can get started right away. And the timing. Well, there really has never been a better time. Now, somebody might say, well, I wish I got started 51 years ago. But remember, 51 years ago, people had a phone hanging on their wall, and they really were tethered to that. And the business was completely different. But today, through this integration with our mobile apps and this app economy that we're in, Legal Shield and ID Shield has gone to a completely new place. And you can start this business part-time, working from anywhere. You're creating a book of business that's willable to your estate, meaning that you're building something that can become a legacy for your family. Every member that you have on the books that stays on the books for the months and years into the future creates an ongoing residual income stream for you and your dependents. We have fast start training class to get you up to speed quickly, ongoing weekly training, and personal mentorship. And right now, here in the month of June, you can get started for only $49. Now, I know you're thinking, well, that he probably means $49,000 or $4,900, or at least $490, but it's accurate. It's $49. It's actually less than the administrative cost of setting up your direct deposit, turning on your websites, and getting you rolling. But the reason for that is because the company is serious about growth. And we are not enough of us. The associates that exist today, there's not enough of us sharing this story. And so we need to increase the number of us advocating for our communities, bringing Legal Shield and ID Shield to every corner of every community, changing the culture, giving people their rights and their voice back. And that's exactly what we do. And we'd like you to do it with us, and you can get started right away. Now, here's what you want to do. You want to get back to the person that invited you to this presentation. If they're not sitting next to you, you just text them. They're going to give you their website link. And what you're going to do is you're going to enroll in the membership, get Legal Shield and ID Shield for yourself and your family if you have one. So you know what all the excitement is about. You know what it feels like to be empowered and have a voice in advocacy. Become an associate for a one-time $49 associate fee. You now have all of the benefits of your own business that you can operate from the palm of your hand. I used to say from home, but today it's a work from anywhere revolution. And with our technology, you can operate the whole business from our mobile app suite called Prospect. And then the third step, by the way, this is all going to take you 3 minutes. So I'm going to take a 5-minute break and then come back. I'm going to be right here. I'm going to leave the Zoom room open, and I'm going to do a getting started training. I'm actually going to walk you through, again, I've been an associate 19 plus years. I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to do, the first few steps to get started so that you can create your success story with our great company. So again, get back to the person that invited you. We're going to take 5 minutes, and I'm going to come back and do a quick training, and we're going to be done totally at the top of the hour. So we'll respect your time for that. Again, 5-minute break, get signed up, come right back here. And I want to thank you and congratulate those of you that are going to be getting started right now. Congratulations. Welcome to Legal Shield. Come back in 5 minutes. Thanks. Hello, hey, welcome back, everybody. We're inside about 60 seconds, so I'm just going to say hi, and we'll give everybody a chance to get back in here. I've been keeping an eye on the chat, and I love seeing that as we were going, watching all the folks at the beginning from all the different parts of the country. And I know a lot more of you have joined since, so we're going to do that again as you're joining in back into the chat. I'd love to see where you're joining us from, and I'll just share that I make my home in the suburbs of Boston, Massachusetts, at what we call Metro West here, which is about 18 minutes west of Fenway Park for the baseball fans in attendance. And I'm excited to be here with you. I see we've got Sonora Danzlers in Colorado, so I'm excited for that. New Mexico, hey, Karen Ward. And some of these are familiar names, and some folks, I'm seeing these names for the first time. So I'm excited to be here with you. And I know some of you are, you were just filling out the form on the website, and you're saying, hey, we're starting. Don't worry, it's okay. Like, let the website's going to process. The company's going to turn on your website. It's going to look exactly like the website you were just on. It's going to have your name, your contact information, your picture. They're going to put all that together for you. You're going to be able to download the Prospect app in a few minutes. I see South Carolina, Ohio, Tennessee. Welcome, everybody. This is great. So Michigan, New Hampshire. Hey, fantastic. Welcome, welcome. So all of that's going to work. You're going to get an email confirmation. Your sponsor is going to be getting in touch with you. So I'm going to get started because I'm going to show you what you can do today. See, when I got started 19 plus years ago, you had to wait for physical materials to come in the mail. You were kind of like, it didn't matter how excited you were on the day that you signed up because you had to wait. As a matter of fact, you had to wait because we filled out paper applications and we put them in the mail. Some of you younger people, just ask a grown-up what this is. We put them in the mail. We licked an envelope and a stamp, and then we sent that in, and then you would get your materials back. But today we live in a digital world. So right now we're going to start your business together. And I'm going to do this. I've got 15 minutes left with you. And some of you are saying, well, what could he possibly give me in 15 minutes? Our system is simple. And I want to caution our newest people that sometimes when I present simplicity to people, they start to imagine that I'm leaving something out. But it's because that this business over 51 plus years now has been refined and simplified, that the communication is direct and simple. It's because of that people are winning. As a matter of fact, let's look a little bit at the people that are winning. I'm going to share with you some facts because I think you should know that you are joining this company at the right time, okay? So right now, we have more than 700 ring earners. I'm going to share with you what that is here for a second. So let's talk about ring earners, and you see 300 Millionaire Club members. Well, a Millionaire Club member is someone who's earned at least $1 million in their career with the company. That means this company has put into the checking account of each of those 300 families at least $1 million. And I want to assure you of this, whether it happens in a couple of years or it takes a decade or longer, when Legal Shield puts $1 million in your checking account, it changes things. It changes a lot of things. It changes, for a lot of folks, changes where their houses are, the cars they drive, where their kids go to school, changes how many vacations they go on a year, it changes whether or not one or both spouses work. It changes a lot of things, and it's changed everything in my life. And some of those Millionaire Club members have earned $1 million because that's what gets you in the door of the Millionaires Club. But some of those Millionaire Club members have earned 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, $40 million in their careers. And also the ring earners. So we have 700 ring earners. That number changes all the time. So I just say 700 plus ring earners. We're minting new ring earners all the time. The ring earners, this is based on a 12-month rolling, a rolling year. So it doesn't have to be January to December. It's any 12-month period. And when you earn the ring, it starts at the $50,000 ring. They kind of look like Super Bowl rings. I don't have one here to show you, but they look like Super Bowl rings. And the first one is $50,000. So earn $50,000 in a 12-month or less period, and you become a $50,000 ring earner. Then we have a $100,000 ring, a $150,000 ring, a $200,000 ring. And we continue on in increments of 100,000 up to the $1 million ring. And as a matter of fact, at our last convention, they discussed openly that we will be premiering in the future a $2 million ring. Again, that's in a 1 year, a 12-month period. So you are joining the right company at the right time. I think this is an even more impressive number, that today more than 30,000 of our associates are earning monthly residual income. Here's what that means, because remember I showed you in the presentation that when you sign up a new member, they go to your website and they sign up for these services, you get a 1-year advance commission right there, usually within 24 to 48 hours of that customer signing up. And then starting in month 13, you get a monthly residual on every membership that's in force or active for as long as it is on the books. It's for the life of the membership. It's not for your life or my life. And it's willable to your estate. See, right now I'm building alongside of my team a massive monthly residual income that I intend to build that's going to be here long after I'm gone. As a matter of fact, one of my mentors, when he passed away 14 years ago, his residual income was $2.5 million a year. And it has grown ever since, because not only does he have great members on the books, but he also built a team that continues to add new members all the time. Isn't that powerful? And 30,000 of our associates, they signed up a few of our members, maybe a few dozen, maybe a few hundred, maybe even a few thousand, and they're earning monthly income checks, residual income now for that activity. So this is what you have just joined. Congratulate yourself for sure. And if you're ready to earn some residual income, I'm about to show you, I've got 11 minutes left with you. Just put a 1 in the chat if you're ready to learn exactly how to launch your Legal Shield business in the next 11 minutes. I want to see if I can get some ones. I see, hey, LaShondra Williams, welcome. Thanks for showing up. We had a great conversation earlier today. Appreciate you being here. And I see a lot of names that I know and a lot of names I haven't seen before, but I am excited. In 10 minutes from now, you're going to know what you need to know to launch your business. Some of you, again, you've been in this business now 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes from now, you're going to be able to start doing the activities that will lead to success. Here's a quote from Darnell Self. He's our executive vice president of our network and business development. He says, everyone has a day one, just like you. Those 30,000 associates earning monthly residual income, those 700 and counting ring earners, those 300 and counting Millionaire Club members, all started exactly like you're starting right now. And I'm going to show you the path that they've all taken. Now, we've had people that have not had that success. And I can tell you quite clearly, because that's why I'm here to be your friend. I got 10 minutes left with you. The people that are succeeding in our business follow the path as it's laid out. They follow the system and they don't deviate from it. They ask questions, of course. They need to course correct from time to time, but they intend to walk the path. They intend to follow the system. They're coachable. They have a burning desire to succeed and they're willing to do the activity. And those are the people who win. And here is your day one. Let's start with this. Let's talk about this. The first voice you're going to hear on our first step training, and I'll have one of our leaders put this URL, pplsifirststep.com, into the chat. You'll also see there's a QR code on the screen, so you can just point your camera at that and it'll take you to our First Step website. The First Step website is available in English, Spanish, and French. So you always have access in multiple languages, which means that you can build your business. And maybe you speak English like me. I only speak English. But I can have people in my team that only speak Spanish, people that only speak French. Isn't that exciting? As a matter of fact, we also make everything available in American Sign Language. I have people in my team that use American Sign Language to communicate. I don't use American Sign Language. I don't know how to do that, but because of our system, I can help people from all these different backgrounds, from all these different languages, from all these different communication styles, and you can too. So PPLSI First Step. Now, the first video you're going to hear is a welcome from Mr. Self. And then you're going to move into a training, and you'll notice in these screenshots, these are not long videos. This video with Miss April Hurst is 1 minute, 58 seconds. She's going to teach you how to identify the people that are most likely to be excited about learning about Legal Shield and ID Shield, and the people most likely to take action. In other words, sign up for a plan to protect themselves, their families, their business, their employees. She's going to walk you through that in less than 2 minutes. David and Liz LeCue, $200,000 ring earners. And again, in less than 3 minutes, they're going to walk you through how to communicate this new information to people so that they can learn that Legal Shield and ID Shield exists. We have the opportunity to sign up tens of millions of people that have never heard of Legal Shield, that have never heard of ID Shield, that are routinely pushed around and don't have access to their rights, that are routinely frustrated and don't know what to do. They want to get their will done, and they're confused about the complication of it, and they know it's going to be expensive. They have questions for attorneys, and they don't know where to turn, so they ask a friend who's not an attorney. And we can step into the lives of all of these people by the millions and share with them the fact that they can have Legal Shield on their phone, that they can have ID Shield on their phone, and the peace of mind that comes with both. I got 7 minutes left with you, but Dave and Liz LeCue are going to show you exactly how to communicate concisely what people need to hear. You know what I loved about getting started in this business? I didn't have to memorize a presentation. I didn't have to know what to say because it was all laid out for me. And because of that, I'm going to share with you in a second, because of that, I was able to move quickly. Now, the next video you're going to see is from Don Thompson. He's the president of our network division. He's going to help you register for our Fast Start class. And he's going to talk about how to get Fast Start qualified. And he's going to do that in 3.5 minutes. Our goal is to help you get your first success in this business. We call it getting paid and promoted. It's fun, and you'll start to hear that all the time as you go through trainings. Paid and promoted. Paid? Well, simple, because we call this your belief check. Now, it's not checks anymore. We all get direct deposit, but it's the same idea, right? You're excited about something, but we want to turn that excitement and make it concrete by putting money in your bank account so that you know just how real this business is. And so he's going to talk to you about not only getting your first member signed up, but also getting Fast Start qualified so you can capture that $100 Fast Start bonus. Now, $100 isn't going to change your zip code. But if you're taking notes, take this note, or just remember what I'm going to say. How you do anything is how you'll do everything in this business. So be serious about the $100 bonus. You know why? Because right now, also in 2023, you're going to learn about a $100,000 bonus that's on the table. And the people that pick up the $100 bonuses are typically the type of people that shoot for and get the big bonuses as well. Now, you're also going to learn how to download your technology from Mr. Daniel Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez also heads up our Legal Shield and Espanol division, where all of our members have access to attorneys that speak Spanish so that they can communicate in Spanish. And by the way, all of our technology is also available in Spanish. And he's going to walk you through how to download the Legal Shield and ID Shield mobile apps to your phone so you can experience that just the way all your members, your customers will. But he's also going to walk you through how to download our tool called Prospect, which gives you the power to run this entire business from the palm of your hand. Now, I'm just going to touch on a couple of things. I got only 5 more minutes with you, but this is just a couple of thoughts from our success system. And I wanted to tell my story because it's one thing for you to hear what you should do, but I wanted to share with you, since I've been here a long time, what happened when I did it. As I mentioned, April Hurst is going to talk about how to make a list of the people that are most likely to sign up for the plan. Well, she's going to talk to you about how to use a memory jogger, but essentially, I just want you to know, don't overlook the power of making a list, because the people that you think would be interested in this might not be, and the people you think won't are the ones that'll sign up right away. And I'll just tell you a quick story from my own life. My friend Bill Sharon, he was at the top of my list. He was actually the first person to join my team. And I went and I had a cup of coffee with him. I played the video that's very similar to the presentation that I just did in the first half an hour. And Bill said, yeah, I'm in. Now, I didn't think he was going to be interested because I had kind of told myself a story that he wasn't going to be interested. And I was nervous meeting with him. But over a cup of coffee, Bill Sharon and I talked about this business. And today, over 7,000 people have signed up for memberships because I had that cup of coffee. And it's now nearly 8,000 members. I got to update this slide. Because I had this cup of coffee with Bill Sharon. He's got people in his team across the United States and Canada, folks that have earned the $50,000 ring, the $100,000 ring and beyond. It's powerful what happened from that one conversation, and I would have missed it. And he was the guy, he was at the top of my list, but I was reluctant because I didn't think he'd sign up. Another guy I used to deliver furniture with, his name is Pat McGurn. He was in the truck with me. I said, listen, you got to see this. I was excited, of course. And I remember getting him to watch that video. He actually watched it in the furniture showroom after we closed the store one day. I don't have a good picture of Pat, so I put up the picture of Proctor's Theater. Our furniture store was 4 doors down from Proctor's Theater in Schenectady, New York. Well, had I not shared this membership and opportunity with him, I would have missed out on over 1,000 members that signed up through his organization that he started when I got in this business. It's a family business for me. When my mom was alive, I had her in the business and I helped her build a team that allowed her to have financial success. It was my family business. This is my grandfather. For those of you who have read On Purpose, you know that he meant a lot to me. And when he retired, he was looking for something to do. He loved his Legal Shield membership. I said, hey, Grandpa, why don't you do this with me? It'll be fun. And he would come to the meetings and he would sell memberships to people when he would share with them the fact that Legal Shield exists and how it helped him. And he just loved doing that. And I'll just share this one other thing with you before I let you go, because I've got 2 more minutes with you. I'm gonna try not to go over the top of the hour. But the best part about getting started, as I said, is I didn't have to master a presentation. I could use a tool. And we use this baseball diamond to describe just how simple our system is. With this tool called Prospect, you can send a video to somebody. We call it making an exposure. Now, some of you, this is exactly how you ended up in this meeting today. Someone texted or emailed you a link so that you could watch a video. But you know what's really cool about that is they didn't have to do the presentation. All they had to do was invite you to watch it. And you did. And I'll tell you something that you might not realize, just to skip ahead, which is that because of the power of the Prospect app, when they sent you that video and when you click the link, your friend got a notification on their own phone. When you started watching the video, your friend got a notification on their phone. When you finished watching the video, your friend got a notification telling them exactly how much of the video you watched. Isn't that cool? All of that is delivered seamlessly behind the scenes so that you know exactly how your business is running, and you can run it from the palm of your hand anywhere you have access to the internet. So you can let somebody else do the presentation like I did, or the videos will do, and then you can let someone else answer the questions for your prospect. Sometimes people are just like, hey, no brainer, I get it, I'm in. But sometimes folks have questions. So when your prospects have been exposed to the information and they have questions, any one of the leaders in this organization will be happy to jump on the phone. We call it a 3-way call, and answer questions for your prospect. And you get to listen in and learn how those conversations go. And that becomes part of your training. Now, sometimes folks are ready to get started, and sometimes they want to see some more information. So that third-party expert will also invite those folks maybe out to a live presentation. In every major city in the US and Canada, we have live events just like we've done here on Zoom tonight. We have those in person where people can meet the team, have some fun. Sometimes it's a coffee hour, sometimes it's a happy hour, but it's always a lot of fun and a great way to meet the team. And we'll even walk your prospects through getting signed up. We'll help them do it. It's simple on the website, as you just saw. It takes about 3 minutes, but isn't that powerful? So you don't have to do the presentation. You don't have to answer the questions. You don't have to invite people out to the live event, and you don't even have to be the one to help them get enrolled on your website, because we do this as a team. And that's why I was able to move quickly and start my business right away. Now, I promise you it's the top of the hour, but since I also promised you when I showed you this slide, I was going to share with you what it's like to have fun with this company. I'm just going to go a couple minutes over, but I'm going to be quick. You know, I never saw anything except on television or in magazines. I never saw the world. I didn't go on an airplane until I was in my 20s. I didn't get my passport until I was in my 30s, but because of this company, I've been able to walk the beaches of the world. I've been able to have all of these experiences with my daughter, who just turned 8 this weekend. All of this is all about her first birthday at Moon Palace in Cancun. Her second birthday. Now, they don't have the events on your kid's birthday, but it just happened to line up for my daughter there in the beginning. And this is Atlantis in the Bahamas, where we were. It was her second birthday. This is Jamaica with her friend Timber Mosley. They're having a blast in Jamaica. I got a couple pictures of some of the hotel rooms. This is in Cabo San Lucas. We had a hot tub on our balcony. Every room had a hot tub on the balcony. Every room had an incredible, breathtaking view. By the way, these trips are all expenses paid and no expenses spared. Now, this, I'm a little bundled up because this is Iceland, where we were riding snowmobiles on a glacier. But then we warmed up again. We went to Hawaii last year, to Maui, Hawaii. There's Olive in Hawaii, and here she is with all the other Legal Shield kids. They're all growing up together. And we want you to be a part of this and walk the beaches of the world with us. Real people are winning in this business, and your story is the next one we're going to tell. So let's get your business started right away. I'm going to leave the next slide up. I'm going to leave the Zoom on for another minute or so you can say goodbye to each other in the chat. But I want you to get over to pplsifirststep.com and start on those videos. Get yourself registered for a Fast Start class. Pick a class that's going to work for your schedule, but do it right away. Again, the First Step training is available in English. It's available in Spanish. It's available in French. You can get started on this right now, and you can launch your business tonight. It's 10:02 p.m. on the East Coast. Some of you have just been in this business for 20 minutes. Congratulations to all of you. Welcome to Legal Shield. And I'll turn you over to the pplsifirststep.com as you continue this journey. Good night, everybody.